Joining us now are Leslie Sanchez and Joel Payne. Leslie is a CBS News political analyst and Republican strategist. Joel is a CBS News political contributor and a Democratic strategist. Leslie, I want to start with you. The January 6th investigation is one of many involving the former president. There's now a lot of attention, of course, on this FBI search at his Mar-a-Lago home last week. Do you expect that to have any bearing on the races tonight?
Not on the races tonight, Nicole. That's, I think, going to be baked in so far. But just the aura around Trump and the focus around Trump continues to drive engagement and intensity for Republican primary voters. They are watching what's happening. And if anything, it is a motivator to get out in the primary, find the slate of candidates they like, and look at the majority Republican legislature in the fall of starting next year, assuming big victories. That's the chatter. That's the focus. And if anything, it's one of the few things that Republicans are aligned on.
Joel, Wyoming's Liz Cheney had a staunchly conservative record, voting with former President Trump nearly 93% of the time. Yet conservative voters don't seem to be coming out in support of her. She's even courting Democrats. So why is that? And do you think it'll make a difference?
Well, Leslie is nice enough to let me cosplay as a Republican analyst right now. I guess what I would say when I'm kind of looking at this from the other side of the aisle is a couple things. One, Republican, the test of whether or not you're Republican enough is not about your voting record per se. It's not about your record on taxes. It's not about your record on life. I mean, yes, those things matter, but that's not the ultimate fault line in the Republican Party. It's democracy issues. It's whether or not you're Trumpy enough and whether or not you want to own the libs. Liz Cheney's on the other side of that. And, you know, it's interesting. I was talking to, believe it or not, I've got Republican friends. I've got a good Republican friend who worked for a number of years in senior leadership in Congress. And we were talking about just the transition of the Republican Party right now. And he made a really good point. If you're Liz Cheney, why do you want to represent the Republican Party of Wyoming in Congress? You have nothing in common with them right now. I mean, again, yes, you have these traditionally conservative values, but they don't want you. And frankly, you don't really want allegiance with them. So it poses the question to me, does Liz Cheney actually have a party right now? She's never going to go and be a pro-Biden Democrat. And certainly there's no home for her in the Republican Party. And I'm sure there are a lot of Republicans like Liz Cheney who are kind of dealing with this same conundrum right now.
Leslie, what do you say to that?
I think there's a lot of transformation in the Republican Party. She represents a lost era, quite frankly. If you look at the people that are decrying the loss and the 20-point disadvantage Liz Cheney has, they're not Republicans. They are Democrats. They are independents. They hearken back to a time that the Republican Party looked like Dick Cheney, George Bush, the former dynasties. They would call it establishment Republican. This new line, from the Freedom Caucus to the Tea Party to the Trumpism, or any way you want, has been building for decades. And this is someone who is completely out of touch with the mainstream of where this party is and where it sees itself going. And that's why I think a lot of voters are really frustrated with her actions on the January 6th Select Committee. They very much feel that they were talking down to the voters as if they were not informed on what happened on January 6th. This is their words, not mine. And so I feel that's the friction. And just to add to a point that we heard earlier real quickly, we talked about McCarthy being in Wyoming, raising money. Republicans are looking at wins and losses. Who is winning? Who can win? That's where the dollars are flowing. And those are the people that are in the room.
And Joel, I want to turn back to you. Do Democrats see pro-Trump candidates as weaker in the general election?
I think it depends on where you are, right? So look, Harriet Hageman, if she prevails tonight, you know, a Democrat's not going to be able to successfully challenge her. But you look at the DCCC, right, and some of these Democratic political committees trying to set up the most Trumpy or the most conservative candidate in some of these places. The reason why they're doing that is because they are better general election candidates to face. If you're in Michigan, you'd rather face the Trump loyalist than Peter Meyer, right? If you are in Washington State, you'd rather face the Trump loyalist Dan Kent than Jamie Herrera Butler. Those are just the raw realities of politics. So it depends on where you are. Wyoming tonight, no. In some of those other places that are a bit more politically skewed and a bit more mixed political populations, maybe.
All right, Joel Payne, Leslie Sanchez, always a pleasure to have you both. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.